April 19th, and this is your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with the latest local news, including more ticks testing positive for Lyme disease in the state. Frank Granito will have a look at your forecast and later on a Nutmeg sports update, and Donald Lang will join us later on to take a look back on this day in history. But first, new details on a story we brought you yesterday on a Stratford house fire. HAN Stratford Star reports that a North Peters Lane home sustained heavy damage after that fire on early Tuesday morning. Firefighters responded to the call of an explosion just after 7 in the morning at 1800 North Peters Lane off of Armstrong Road. Assistant Fire Chief John Gottfried, who lives in the North Peters Lane neighborhood, reported seeing heavy fire engulfing an attached garage of the ranch-style home. Due to the sparsity of hydrants in the area, Stratford firefighters received assistance from Shelton, who brought their water tanker to supplement water sources there. Firefighters searched the home and found that no people were inside at the time. However, 2 dogs were rescued and uninjured. That fire was under control by about 7:45, but firefighters stayed on scene for several hours to handle hot spots in the area. No injuries were reported. Fire Marshal Brian Lampard declared the home uninhabitable, and the cause of that fire is under investigation. And authorities say 2 people have been killed in a plane crash near a small airport in Connecticut. The Federal Aviation Administration says the aircraft crashed in the woods shortly after taking off from the privately owned Skylark Airport in East Windsor. It happened around 6:45 Tuesday evening. The names of the 2 people that have died have not yet been released. The FAA is investigating the crash of that Luscombe 8A aircraft and will determine its cause. And in other news, a former Milford teacher turned herself into police on Monday after being made aware of a warrant for her arrest. According to the New Haven Register, 44-year-old Jennifer Frechette has been charged with 2nd-degree sexual assault, 4th-degree sexual assault, and 2 counts of risk of injury to a child after allegedly engaging in a sexual act with a student at Wilbur Cross High School. Hearst Connecticut media reports that Frechette worked as a 3rd-grade teacher at Meadowside School in Milford from 1999 until she resigned in 2013. She was arraigned and released on Monday after posting a $100,000 bond. And the Darien Police Department's Canine Grizzly has been retired from service after just a few months on the job following a cancer diagnosis. Canine Grizzly, a 3.5-year-old chocolate lab, was acquired by the town of Darien back in September 2016 and placed with his handler, Officer Leslie Silva. In February, Grizzly began limping and experiencing regular pain in one of his hind legs. After visiting a local vet and running a number of tests, he was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of bone cancer. The vet discovered a cancerous tumor which was located in an inoperable area in his hip joint, and that tumor has rapidly progressed. Darien police say it was determined that the best course of action would be to retire Grizzly from service and return him into the care of Frank Rita of Superior Canine Services in an effort to make him as comfortable as possible. In addition to working in a patrol function alongside his handler, Grizzly enjoyed visiting Darien schools, doing public demonstrations, and meeting with community members of all ages to educate them about the police department. Darien police say this has been a very difficult situation for the entire department. Grizzly and Officer Silva rode for their last tour of duty together on April 11th. And an Easton man was arrested this month and charged with stealing more than $28,000 in cash and jewelry from a Milford home where he was renting a living space. The Milford Police Department received a complaint in December regarding missing money and jewelry from that home. An investigation led to the arrest of 24-year-old Nicholas Bodine of Morehouse Road in Easton. Police said numerous pieces of stolen jewelry were located at pawn shops, leading to Bodine's arrest. And the tick testing program at the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station is reporting higher tick abundance in the state this spring and larger numbers of ticks infected with Borrelia burgdorferi, the causative agent of Lyme disease and other tick-borne pathogens. According to Dr. Gudars Malay, who directs the tick testing program, he said they've received over 450 ticks so far this year, and nearly 38% have tested positive for Lyme disease. 10% have tested positive positive for Babiosa microti, the causative agent of babiosis. The higher tick abundance appears to be related to lower winter temperatures in the state during the last 2 years. Well, let's switch gears now and talk more about temperatures with Frank Granito with a look at the weather. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And those few spots of sunshine we saw earlier this morning are on their way out. We're going to see increasing cloud cover now around the county this afternoon. Cooler out today, temperatures in the mid-50s and then starting to drop in the late afternoon, early evening as scattered showers are expected overnight and into Thursday morning. Overcast early tomorrow morning and muggy with temperatures back up into the mid to high 60s. There's a 45% chance for showers during the afternoon before occasional rainfall overnight and scattered thunderstorms that will carry into Friday. Mostly cloudy again on Friday with an expected high of 67 degrees. Early morning rainfall should break by noon, but there is still a chance for 1 or 2 more showers before Friday evening. Partly clear skies overnight with a low in the high 40s, but luckily we should get a break from all this rainfall on Saturday as it looks to be a little bit clearer out there. That's going to do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, Donald Eng joins us to take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and there's more local news coming up after this.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
Spring has sprung at Walter Stewart's Market, and we're celebrating the new season with fresh takes on spring. From the finest produce around to guaranteed fresh seafood delivered daily by the best local supplier. Not only are we your time-saving one-stop shop for everything you need this season, our personable team is always ready with a helping hand. Shop Stewart's for the best of spring. Find us at 229 Elm Street, New Canaan, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
The new fishing season is fast approaching, so it's time to head over to the dock shop and get your gear in order. We're now offering bait in both Darien and our Westport location. The dock shop can service and repair your rods and reels, spool up new line, and fill any empty space you might have in your tackle box. Whether you're a fisherman, boater, or beach bum, the dock shop is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
Did you know heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America? Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with Pro Health Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
Pro Health Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including Pro Health Physicians news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network's Wishes in Flight campaign. Over 70% of wishes granted involve travel, and your unused airline miles can help make kids' dreams become a reality. Plus, once you donate your miles to Make-A-Wish, they never expire. Donate your miles at ct.wish.org/HAN Network and help us change lives, one wish at a time.
Welcome back to this April 19th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to take a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Wow, what a busy day in history it is. A bunch of things that I could probably do a whole show on, but we're going to start, of course, in 1775. The American Revolutionary War begins with the battles of Lexington and Concord. Now we say Lexington and Concord like they're one event, but there were two very different incidents in nature. Lexington, pure confusion. The British routinely marched troops through the countryside to get the men some exercise. They didn't want to fight, and neither did the Minutemen on Lexington Green. In fact, they were arrayed specifically so that they would not block the road to Concord or impede the British march. Colonel Parker, commanding the Minutemen, had already ordered his men to go home when the fateful shots rang out. Concord, though, was the first act of armed, organized resistance. This wasn't throwing snowballs at troops. This wasn't tarring and feathering royal agents. The militia had fired on the king's troops, then continued firing on them for several hours, killing 73 and wounding 174 more. And I criticized Longfellow yesterday for getting his history wrong. Emerson, in his poem, got it right. The shot heard round the world happened at Concord, not Lexington. 1984, speaking of former British colonies, Advance Australia Fair is proclaimed Australia's national anthem, replacing God Save the Queen. Now, I mention this because there are some folks in America who don't really care too much for the Star-Spangled Banner as a national anthem, but Advance Australia Fair is so unpopular among Australians, 40% of them would prefer a song about hunting down an itinerant farm worker and forcing him to commit suicide as their national anthem. That's Waltzing Matilda, in case you didn't know. I'm not kidding. Look up the words. 1987, 30 years ago, believe it or not, The Simpsons premieres as a short on The Tracy Ullman Show. 614 more episodes have followed in the last 30 years. It is the longest-running scripted primetime television show in history, surpassing Gunsmoke more than 8 years ago. Finally, now, on a more somber note, we go to 1995 for this.
Parking levels, which just simply flattened onto one another like pancakes. You have also talked about more bomb threats around the country. One at an IRS office in Boston, another one at the federal building in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, we're not sure how all of this is connected, but we're getting word of this over the wire and through the telephone. There you're seeing more pictures of the Murrah Federal Building and the complete devastation there. Just a huge...
Of course, is the live footage from the bombing of the Alfred Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. 168 people would die in that explosion. Timothy McVeigh would later be executed for the crime, which he said was in retaliation for the Waco siege at the Branch Davidian compound, which had occurred 2 years earlier, also on this day. That's your look back in history for today, April 19th, and I'm Donald Dane.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Shelton Mayor Mark Loretti declined the Board of Fire Commissioners' request to have an investigation made into the invalid appointment of one of the city's fire inspectors. Loretti said there will be no investigation to examine the appointment of Fire Inspector Mark Krasner. Loretti said, quote, "They can investigate it or have anyone else investigate it, but there won't be an investigation done on my end." The chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners, Mike Maglione, who filed the request with the Board of Aldermen, was unavailable for a comment as of this morning. The request, written by Maglione, says the board has concerns of the validity of any inspections conducted by Krasner, and the board would like an investigation to be launched into any inspection that he's completed. Board of Aldermen President John Anglais said the appointment is not a decision made by his board. He suggested that the city's fire commissioners invite the mayor to one of their meetings to talk things out. However, Mayor Mark Loretti declined a sit-down meeting with the Board of Fire Commissioners to listen to its concerns. But you can get more on that story at sheltonherald.com. Throw it back over to Frank Granito now for a Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. And the HAN Network was live yesterday at Cardinal Stadium on the campus of Greenwich High for our Game of the Week between Staples and Greenwich in boys lacrosse. Last year, these two teams required double overtime when they met in the regular season, as the Wreckers capped off their comeback with a 13-12 win over their rivals. The score wasn't as high this time around, but the drama was all the same. In a back-and-forth tilt, we saw 6 lead changes, but it was Jack O'Connor's second goal of the game that proved to be the difference. O'Connor blew a shot past Matt Garber with 3:37 remaining in regulation, while on the man advantage after Blake Runkle was called for a cross-check on Addison Muir that had him sitting out. Staples would have a couple more chances to net an equalizer, but could not convert as Triscari held strong in net, and the Cardinals hung on for a 7-6 win. Here are the highlights from yesterday's rivalry game.
Early on in this season as a pass over to the wing. And here's Pat Sakara with it. Behind the net and wide open, able to come around to the front, convert the wraparound, and it's 1-0. Great finish there. It's Harris Levy. Oh, what a big goal. A huge answer there. And we are tied at 1 just like that. It was Matt Bogger. Savio out in space with a lot of room to work. Fada winds up in the high bounce shot. Connects again, his second of the afternoon.
Great job there by Bailey Seville. You look back at that last play.
Pick set here and trying to head towards the front. It's off the crossbar. In. Count it. Quick answer. This one comes from Lonergan. It won't show up in the stat sheet, but gives Sakara an assist for that pick.
And for both rosters to really get that playoff feel going.
As a turnaround shot out of the stick of Zinn just sneaks inside the far post, and we're quickly tied at 5. That's great ball movement here. Pass in front, and Triscari denies him on the doorstep.
Wow, what a save. And it looks like we got Sequeira down right now.
Pass for Tucker was knocked down. He recovers, fires through contact, and finishes. Cardinals have the lead again.
What a finish there for the Greenwich Cardinals.
Completes the full swing as Tucker buys time and space. O'Connor winds up, and he finds the back of the net. Stumble to the turf. Falls through the double team. Hutchinson has it as he flings a prayer the length of the field. And that'll do it. The Cardinals hold on 7-6 as Greenwich continues to march their way through this regular season through a litany of one-goal games.
So Greenwich goaltender Andrew Triscari picks up his 5th win of the season, and the Cardinals are now 5-2, taking sole possession of first place in the West Division. They will travel to Fairfield Ludlow on Saturday for their next game. Staples falls to 4-2. They'll go out of conference next as they play at Fox Lane, New York, tomorrow afternoon. That game on Saturday between Ludlow and Greenwich will be the Charlie Capoballo game. We'll have more on that later this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports. Some other scores in boys lacrosse yesterday saw New Canaan 19-1 over Norwalk. Ridgefield all over Trinity Catholic 19-3. Trumbull topped West Hill 18-1. Darien rolls past Ward 18-4. And Wilton able to handle Danbury 16-2. We'll have a full breakdown of yesterday's game of the week and a preview of this afternoon's boys volleyball matchup between Staples and Ridgefield this afternoon on Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. That's going to do it for this Nutmeg Sports update. Let's send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. Well, for New Canaan commuters, substitute bus service will be provided between the New Canaan and Stamford stations for select trains on Fridays through Sundays, April 21st through the 23rd, April 28th through the 30th, and May 5th through the 7th. Service is being changed to accommodate some track work. Buses to Stamford operate 15 to 20 minutes earlier than scheduled trains. Commuters should listen for announcements and check the destination before boarding. You can get a lot more at ncadvertiser.com. And the town of Bethel issued an open invitation to the community to participate in a pride parade celebrating lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and the queer community members on Sunday, April 23rd on Main Street from 1 to 3. The parade was devised by Bethel Middle School students Haley Gessler and Marcella Antunes. Those wishing to watch the parade can line Bethel's Main Street and be prepared for a 1 p.m. step-off time. Those wishing to march in the parade are asked to gather at P.T. Barnum Square at 12:30. The parade was devised by middle schoolers after they conducted a school research project on a specific social problem and its effect on the individual. Haley and Marcella's project was on discrimination against the LGBTQ community. You can get a lot more information on the parade at thereadingpilot.com. And Shelton will send 2 robotics teams to compete in the International Championships in St. Louis later this month. Team 230, also known as the Galehawks, have extended their season all the way to the first robotics competition international championship, which takes place April 26th to the 29th. They will also be accompanied by a team from the Shelton Intermediate School, and you can get a lot more at sheltonherald.com. We're going to step out for a break. When we come back, we're going to recap some of the top local stories we're following today after this.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning free-form pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. MrHandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
MrHandymanCT.com.
It's the InSports Athletic Functional Movement Assessment Program.
A program that uses a camera, the same camera that you use with an Xbox video game.
What it involves is three phases. One is the initial test, which will give you a very objective and lengthy assessment of how you are moving. There may be imbalances.
Once test gets the results from the assessment, we'll develop a customized program for the individual.
The objective really to try to get as many young athletes through this program as possible.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network. If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN Network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier Network, and we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to this Wednesday edition of your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. New details on a story we brought you yesterday on a Stratford house fire. HAN Stratford Star reports that a North Peters Lane home sustained heavy damage after that fire on early Tuesday morning. Firefighters responded to the call of an explosion just after 7 a.m. at 1800 North Peters Lane off of Armstrong Road. Assistant Fire Chief John Gottfried, who lives in the North Peters Lane neighborhood, reported seeing heavy fire engulfing an attached garage of the ranch-style home. Due to the sparsity of hydrants in the area, Stratford firefighters received assistance from Shelton firefighters, who brought their water tanker truck to supplement water sources. Firefighters searched the home and found that no people were inside at the time. However, 2 dogs were rescued and were uninjured. That fire was under control by about 7:45, but firefighters stayed on scene for several hours to handle hot spots in the area. Fire Marshal Brian Lampart declared the home uninhabitable, and the cause of that fire remains under investigation. And authorities say 2 people have been killed in a plane crash near a small airport in Connecticut. The Federal Aviation Administration says that aircraft crashed in the woods shortly after taking off from privately owned Skylark Airport in East Windsor. It happened around 6:45 in the evening Tuesday. The names of the 2 people that have died have not yet been released. The FAA is investigating the crash of that aircraft and will determine its cause. And a former Milford teacher turned herself into police on Monday after being made aware of a warrant for her arrest. According to the New Haven Register, 44-year-old Jennifer Frechette has been charged with 2nd-degree sexual assault and 4th-degree sexual assault, as well as 2 counts of risk of injury to a child after allegedly engaging in a sexual act with a student at Wilbur Cross Highway. Hearst Connecticut Media reports that Frechette worked as a third-grade teacher at Milford's Meadowside School from 1999 until she resigned in 2013. She was arraigned and released Monday after posting a $100,000 bond. And the Darien Police Department's Canine Grizzly has been retired from service after just a few months on the job following a cancer diagnosis. Canine Grizzly, a 3.5-year-old chocolate lab, was acquired by the town of Darien back in September of 2016 and placed with handler Officer Leslie Silva. In February, Grizzly began limping and experiencing regular pain in one of his hind legs. After visiting a vet and running numerous tests, he was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of bone cancer. The vet discovered a cancerous tumor which was located in an inoperable area in his hip joint, and that tumor rapidly progressed. It was determined, according to Darien Police, that the best course of action would be to retire Grizzly from service and return him to the care of Frank Rita of Canine Superior Services in an effort to make him as comfortable as possible. In addition to working in a patrol function alongside his handler, Grizzly enjoyed visiting local schools, doing public demonstrations, and meeting with community members of all ages to educate them about the police department. Darien Police say this has been a very difficult situation for the entire department. Grizzly and Officer Silva rode their last tour of duty together on April 11th. And an Easton man was arrested this month and charged with stealing more than $28,000 in cash and jewelry from a Milford home where he was renting a living space. The Milford Police Department received a complaint back in December regarding missing money and jewelry. An investigation led to the arrest of 24-year-old Nicholas Bodine of Morehouse Road in Easton. Police said numerous pieces of jewelry were located at local pawn shops, leading to Bodine's arrest. Well, let's throw it back over to Frank Granito now for one final look at the forecast. Frank.
Thank you, Kate. Again, we're staring down temperatures right around 53 right now with increasing cloud cover heading our way for this afternoon. We could see some scattered showers overnight that will carry on into Thursday morning. Overcast early tomorrow. Temperatures back up into the mid-60s. Will be a little muggy out. About a 45% chance of rain tomorrow afternoon. Then we're going to see occasional rainfall overnight with scattered thunderstorms before Friday. Mostly cloudy again Friday, maybe 1 or 2 showers in the morning and possibly 1 or 2 more in the afternoon before it starts to clear up a little bit overnight. Temperatures in the low 40s, and we should see some more sunshine back our way come Saturday. That's going to do it for the weather. Back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we do have boys volleyball coming up later today.
That's right, 5:30 from the Tigers Den, the defending 3-time state champion Richfield Tigers hosting the Staple Wreckers.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And coming up at 12:30, CT Pulse is back. We're going to break down some of the potential candidates, the Democrats that could run for governor in 2018. We also welcome Trumbull First Selectman Tim Herbst to talk about his recent health scare. And of course, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock. We will see you tomorrow for your coffee break at 11.